Loves. Thank you for tuning in. This is Sasha from Terra Mater, and I am here. It is 2 in the morning exactly, and I am honestly sleepless. I'm very restless, and there's a huge part of me that really wanted to get a message out today, and I don't know what the message is supposed to be or who it's meant to be for. Um, but I really get this idea of having to almost like release expectation. I just I want to talk to you guys today. Just because I feel really drawn to it. I feel really called to do it. I'm shuffling my cards. I'm using a deck that I don't normally use for you guys. Actually, I'm using the Arcana Iris. I'm like literally in my pajamas, ready to knock out kind of vibe, and like I just keep getting that I have to get up and I have to like make this video. So that's what I'm doing, and if it resonates, then this one was for you. This is a timeless channel, a timeless reading. I will be using the cards for a little bit of clarity or guidance, but I'm going to mostly be channeling whatever spirit has to tell me, because I just feel like there's going to be a mouthful. And so I have my AirPods in, and I am listening to binaural beats, and I am going to maybe do a little bit of meditation. And honestly, right now I'm getting that I want you to meditate with me. So it maybe will be a little bit guided, okay? So before I even read any cards at all, we're going to close our eyes. I'm going to close my eyes right now. I want you to close your eyes with me, okay? And I want you to breathe in deeply through your nose. And I want you to allow this breath to fill every part of your body. I want you to feel this oxygen flowing into your fingertips, flowing into your toes, flowing into every little hidden corner of the body. And I want you to release this breath gradually. We're going to do this. Maybe I did it a second time. Let's do it four to five times. I want you to feel protected right now. I really get this sense of somebody feeling very cold and very isolated and very almost like I see a person in a dark corner. They're in a really dark corner of a room. There's no warmth there. They just are feeling like they're in the darkest time of their life right now. So I want you to know, and I think that you need to be reassured, that you are so protected. You are so blessed, and this idea of prison is only in your mind. This idea of isolation is only in your mind. You cannot be isolated or separated from what you are, and that is the fact that you are a fragment, a piece of everything. You are fully connected and integrated with every single thing that is around you. So do me a favor and keep your eyes closed, because I need you to really feel this message, whoever this message is for that has me up all night. I really need you to feel how loved you are. I want you to know, like, Spirit really wants to tell you that you have not been forsaken. You have not been abandoned. There is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing broken about you. Everybody goes through hurt, everybody goes through pain, everybody goes through sacrifice. I get that you're judging yourself a lot. Like, I put myself in this position. How could I have done this? Why would I do this to myself? The reality is that we do what we feel like is best for at any given moment, and what is best for us at any given moment. And maybe whatever that action was you just operating from that space of feeling like you were doing what was best for you. And I hear a lot of self-judgment. I hear a lot of criticism almost. You're your own worst enemy at this time in your life. The universe does not hate you. The universe is not your enemy. It is your lack of ability to see how honestly worthy you are and how much light you have in you. You have created a prison of your mind, but you must mind the mind, because it is really giving you a false narrative right now that is really trapping you. I just get very like you're in bondage, you're in mental bondage right now. That is, and then I pull the Ten of Wands, which is oppression, and the Seven of Swords, futility. So let's just talk about Ten of Wands is really a card that is, this deck like has labeled it as oppression, but Ten of Wands is also somebody who has undergone a lot of pain and a lot of suffering for their choices, almost like they knew better but they didn't choose to do better. They have really, they're in anguish right now. They have a sense of betrayal, whether that is self-betrayal or having trusted someone very deeply and feeling like that trust has been broken because they've been deeply damaged or hurt by this person. And then futility and the Seven of Swords. This is somebody who has really pushed a lot of mental energy. Again, your mind is your prison. Has really pushed a lot of mental energy out there that is really not serving them. You're putting all this energy into areas where it doesn't belong, and you're trying to figure out the solution, but you really are just creating a space where you feel like you're working at things alone. Like your energy is going to something that's taking it but not giving it back. You're trying to come up with a solution. You're like trying to be the problem solver, but you just feel extremely, extremely depleted. It's time for you to count your losses and get out of that situation. It does not serve you. It is abusive or it is toxic, and if this was the message that you were waiting for, this is it. Like, it's time for you to part from that dynamic. That dynamic is almost trapping you. Now, that's not to say that people can't grow, people can't change, even with yourself. So this is a relationship. This is either a relationship with a partner. It can be a family dynamic. But I don't get more than one other person. It's like you and somebody else. It can also be your relationship to yourself. If you have created an identity, a false narrative where you continue to split yourself in two, where that shadowy aspects of yourself you try to hide and ignore, in order for you to, I guess, almost put on this facade that you are like loving and strong and powerful. Um, Everybody's seeing how much you're hurting right now. You are the only one who is not reaching out to the resources that are available. You have pushed everybody away. It's not that you're truly isolated, it's that you keep pushing people away because you don't want them to see you when you're weak and in pain. But they're not going to judge you. You are the harshest judge of yourself. It's okay to reach out for help right now, to the capacity that you're able to, even if it's just calling somebody to talk to them, to ask for support during this time. They're not going to have the answers. You're the only one who has the answers. Interference. This is the Eight of Swords. So you got the Seven of Swords, and you also got the Eight of Swords. So I want to say that swords is like the mental atmosphere. It's the air signs. Eight is the number of self mastery. It is almost like the mental energy of trying to accomplish self mastery, of somebody who really wants to discover their skill and put it to good use. But then that's combined with Ten of Wands, Seven of Swords. So you're growing into this position. All right, so futility, right? Like you have this energy that you're dishing out, but that is going nowhere. And then you are growing into this position where there needs to be a break apart from your norm, because you are not mentally in the space to be able to tap into what it is that is necessary right now for you to accomplish what it is that you want, which is harmony. But harmony is not possible in this situation. The best thing that you can do for yourself is try to fall in line and honor your higher self. I think there's been a lot of crying lately for you. Ah, this is just beautiful. Okay, so 3 cards fell out, and I'm going to read them for you. You have, so, 5 of Chalices, disappointment. This card is about somebody who has really invested emotionally. They have broken the foundation of their emotional investment, and they have tried to make progression, but only to discover that that progression was a fluke. They have put energy, especially like mental energy, trying to figure out a new way forward, only to find out that it was not going to be met emotionally. They were just going to feel like you are just feeling honestly very drained, very emotionally depleted, honestly very disappointed. You feel a strong sense of betrayal right now. I almost get like shock, but there's the reality too that you're almost shocked with yourself, because this person has displayed, this person that has created, like this person that you're in partnership with, has shown you the signs already, and you have chosen to ignore them. And it's at the point where you can no longer ignore them, and you are hoping for this great grand change, and you are just at the realization that, oh my god, what did I get myself into? And now I'm so far in, and I'm so emotionally invested, and what I'm coming to discover is that I have been fucking lied to. That's just straight up. But we have Queen of Wands. Queens are a water element, and wands are fire. And so they kind of neutralize each other, but this is also somebody who is very powerful. This is somebody who has a lot of passion, who has the ability to be very intuitive about where they want to put their passion. So this could be somebody that you can use as a resource, or this can signify actually you are forgetting how powerful you are. You are giving up your power to your mental prison, that you are in this alone, that you don't know what happened, that you're creating a victim out of yourself, but you are not a victim. You are a co-creator. And the same way you've gotten yourself into this situation is the same way that you can get yourself out. There is still hope for you. And you need to tap into that hope and tap into that light, that even when everything has been destroyed and has like fallen apart, there's a light that is shining for you, that is guiding you towards it, that is saying, get out of that space and come over here. Come over here, because it's within your power. You do not have to be helpless and hopeless and all of that. You are totally, fully, 100% capable of getting into a new beginning, into a new space that is going to come with a lot of healing, because you're being very hard on yourself right now. You're judging yourself really harshly. You are very critical, but it's also making you critical of others, and it's maybe making you a little bit difficult to be around. But here I'm going to say also that you're not losing your mind, and you don't have to have some like saint-like level of forgiveness or understanding for somebody who is not putting in the work for themselves. Because if they're not putting in the work for themselves, my dear, they are not going to be putting in any work for you. And you need to be very honest about that. You have been holding on to somebody else's potential, and they've not actually given you a reason to hold on to that potential. It's just been very dark. You're slipping into a dark space, and you feel yourself doing it, and it's almost like you can't get out of this mental cycle where you crave this like abusive energy, and you feel so alone in this process. But you're actually not alone. You're actually a badass bitch, and you're actually fully fucking capable of getting yourself out of the situation. You have the energy, you have the passion, you have the willpower, and you're very intuitive. Your intuition is not wrong. Whoever's telling you your intuition is wrong, they're fucking trying to manipulate you. Your intuition is on point. Do not think otherwise. You need to know that. Tap into that intuition. Tap into that emotional guidance. It is trying to get you out of a toxic situation that you do not belong in, and that you are actually not the reason. Like, somebody is gaslighting you. Like, you're not the reason why that situation exists. Maybe you co-created it. You definitely resonated on that frequency with that particular person that has created this situation, but you don't actually, it's not because you deserve it, or because you're unworthy, or you're incapable of getting something more or tapping into something higher. It is just because sometimes we don't see our worthiness at that time, and then we end up in situations that really highlight everything we don't want more of. And that's great. Now you know what you don't want more of. And now you know where your boundaries are. There's a huge word, like this topic has been coming to my mind, and I keep avoiding talking about boundaries because I've been getting a lot of information lately about how boundaries are so important for ourselves. They are really important to let other people know how we will accept being treated and all that wonderful stuff that we typically think of boundaries. But boundaries are also extremely vital for you to know how to treat yourself, for you to know what you allow for yourself. And that's especially in terms of like self-judgment and self-criticism, especially for you. It's really time that you have firm boundaries with yourself, that you don't allow that manipulative side of yourself to play tricks on you, because your mind is not operating from a higher position. Your mind is operating from a wounded position. Do not get down on that level and try to do a tit for tat situation. It will just explode in your face. Do not get down on that level and try to do this type of situation where you are just playing like the wounded victim. You're not the wounded victim. You need to step into your power. Enough is enough. Let's see what else comes up for you. Not all hope is lost, and I want you to know that. I think that's really important for you to know. This is the Magician. You have the ability to completely transform your circumstances right now. You don't see it right now, but this is your reminder that you absolutely can transmute this pain and make something beautiful out of it. You absolutely can transmute this circumstance and completely bring something beautiful from it. And a lot of that is going to have to do with your self-worth, but also a lot of that is going to have to do with you digging into your childhood. And it's like you're being called to dig into what has created your willingness to accept this situation in the first place. You have a lot of broken relationships from your past, and they're difficult to overcome because they may not be super obvious. Like the ways that you've been hurt in your childhood may not be super obvious to you, but they're coming up right now really loudly. You have learned to accept a lesser level of love and make excuses for people, and you're being called to step out of that pattern and break that cycle, because it's not something that you actually need to do. You are allowed to imagine and envision the style of love that you feel like you want to accept, and it doesn't have to be this lesser version of love. Also, so just so you know, abuse isn't always shouting and hitting and punching. There's a lot of abuse that comes in the form of it being extremely manipulative, and there's a lot of abuse that's very sneaky, and like it's gaslighting. It's like making you feel and think that you're crazy, making you like doubt your intuition, making you now somebody like not believing in your intuition is not abuse within itself. It's somebody that has this manipulative quality that may not even come off as malicious. This may not be a person that's like shouting in your face, but this may be a person that really speaks down to you in a way that it positions it like if they have your better interests. Like, you know what? I get it, but I don't know that you know what's best for you. And they may not use those words exactly, but they kind of come off as this like very pretentious, know-it-all kind of person that has totally manipulated a situation to where you're now in this position that you didn't even realize you were getting yourself into, which is why you're so shocked. But it's also why you're so judgmental, because you keep thinking, I need to do better. I need to fix this. I need to do better. I can't lose this person. I can't lose this situation. But actually, you kind of have to. They're being very manipulative. They are not serving you. They are really making you doubt yourself, because they need you to be a weakened version of yourself in order for them to feel really good about themselves. They also have a broken image of love, and it has to do with somebody being submissive. They really want somebody that's very submissive to them. That's not something that you have to accept. You're very powerful, and that's extremely intimidating to them. So they will try to quiet you as much as possible. This is not like a screaming match and a bloody fight kind of energy. This is very much this very sneaky, invasive, very like getting into the cracks of things, getting into the cracks of your mental space, getting into the cracks of your like psychological atmosphere, which has created this mental prison for you. It's very deep. It's almost like a brainwashing, like somebody rewriting who you think you are. Don't give people permission to do that. Now, this is where you need to do a lot of work and explore why it is that you don't trust yourself enough to be guided by your own personal inner voice or your own personal intuition, and why it is that you feel like this person knows you better than you know you. Is it because you've had some hard experiences together? Is it because they've been helpful to you in some way? Is it because they seem very authentic? This is the kind of person that comes off one way but is absolutely hiding their true self. They have a lot of work to do. It is time for you to go inward. The Hermit. The Hermit is not just about introspection, it's also about listening to outer wisdom. It's also about tapping into your own wisdom. So it's not just being introspective in and of itself, but it's also being able to listen to a higher source, a higher, like somebody has been trying to give you some information about what they see. I see a mother, I see, or like a woman, like another woman, who is very motherly or nurturing, or it could be a very nurturing friend to you who is generally quite authentic, but you just don't, you have like, you've lost a lot of trust in yourself, so you're not capable of trusting other people. And you feel like people are just trying to, it's just that they don't like him or they don't like her. Like they just don't like him. So they don't get it. They don't really see how good he is. But really, actually, they are seeing everything that you're not willing to admit because you don't want to be the person that has made a huge mistake. It's okay to make mistakes. Get yourself out of there. You made a mistake. That's it. Count your losses, take what you can and keep it moving. It's not the end of the world for you. This feels very, very this feels very like you feel like very devastated. You feel very like if this ends, this will be the end of it for me. What are my chances? What's going to come of this? How am I going to progress? Like what's my chance here? You have a lot more chances without him. You have a lot of areas where you need to grow up. You need to mature. And you need to do some hard work that you've not been willing to do in the past. You really wanted somebody to come and kind of sweep you off your feet and be your savior. But you just have a very broken image of love, and you've got to ask yourself why and where that's come from. There's a lot of self-love issues that you've got to work on. You have a very low idea of yourself. And we all go through that. Well, most of us go through that. Maybe not all of us. Fine, I won't speak for everybody. A lot of us go through that, though. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. You can really find a lot, you can really tap into yourself, your sense of empowerment and power by reconnecting with your sisters, your soul sisters, your sisterhood tribe, other women that you really care for, other women that have really cared for you. They may be actual family. They may be close friends that you've lost contact with as a result of everything going on in your life. You've been so spread thin energetically and emotionally and psychologically that you've really not been able to connect in a deeper way to the women around you, but you're being called to connect to them because they have information, they have wisdom, they have experiences that they can share. You're definitely not alone. You got the Hierophant here too. So the Hierophant is about taking my nails are so trash right now, sorry guys. The Hierophant is about learning traditional lessons. It's kind of like tapping into this wisdom that has been passed on, for like ancestral wisdom that's been passed on from tradition and generation and generation and generation, and like being a proper student of that, being a proper student of the like religious arts, spiritual arts, philosophical arts, ethics and morality. It's about somebody really kind of tapping into learning, being willing to be taught from somebody who actually has the information and actually has the experiences to teach you so that you can apply those teachings to yourself and to your life, okay? And this is a card that came up and I shuffled it back in and it came up again. So this is for you, the Hierophant. It's time for you to be the student. It's time for you to take a seat. It's time for you to learn something really new. I just gather that it's going to be very new for you and you just don't know how to do it. But the way will present itself for you. This is a part of the way. If you tuned in today, this is like, there's something here that is just you needed to hear this because you've been so trapped mentally, and it's time for you to stop doubting yourself, your intuition. You're not bugging just because somebody is like painting themselves as this good person. Now, it's not to say that they're a bad person, because I have a strong belief that there's a lot of people that are not like truly bad, that end up really having a poor set of cards in their life, and they just play a bad hand, you know. But that does not mean that you have to be a martyr for their learning experiences, or a martyr for their trauma. Like, that's not your job. Your job is to take care of your personal healing, and they lack a lot of self-awareness. And if they are going to step into being a better partner or being a better person for themselves, they first have to address what's going on with them, and they're so not willing to do that because they have this like better than thou, know all the answers kind of energy. But they don't have all the answers, and they're really making you feel like you are just not good enough. You're so confused, you're so conflicted. They have a very sneaky way of being manipulative with you, I gather. And you've been feeling like things have been extremely off, and you've been feeling very depressed, and you've been not really knowing why. But your intuition is right. You don't need a reason, by the way. You don't need something major to happen. You don't need this huge event to happen for you to get out of there. So here we have the Three of Discs, which is work. And what this card really talks about is almost like a coming together. So this is where I feel like the sisterhood really comes in, or this is where I feel like multiple energies really come in to manifest something new for you. I just feel like you're really going to be leaning on other people to learn something new, to help you put in that work. This could be therapy. This could be actually changing jobs. But the three, it has to do with growth and expansion, and also relying on your resources, or a coming together of community in order to like serve a greater purpose. And I feel like this greater purpose is your personal evolution right now. I also get you need to go into your history. You don't have all of the information. You're missing information from your past. You need to go back. You need to go back and ask some questions to some people. I don't know what Spirit's trying to get at here in terms of like going back, but you're missing information, and they need me to tell you that. You have to I just feel like your ancestors, like, you need to go back and talk to the matriarch of your family. I get a very high power feminine energy coming through. There's a feminine energy, a very nurturing feminine energy, who has information for you. And I don't know if you've been avoiding this person. I don't know if you've never bothered to look into it. I don't know if you've never bothered to ask, but they just really are asking you to go there to this person. They have some information, and they've been dying to give it to you because they don't want to see you trapped. This could also be a very spiritual journey. It could maybe not be a physical person. This could be going into meditation and tapping into this like higher feminine ancestral energy. And it maybe sounds bizarre to you. I'm not so sure, but that's what I get. I don't know if this was helpful for you. I really hope that it was, because I've been sleepless over this message. So if you're tuned in today, you really needed to hear this. If you like lasted this long in this video, I hope that it resonates, because Spirit really, really wants you to have this message. I pulled out my Lenormand deck, and you also get the Sun. The Sun is a beautiful card of hope and joy, and really being able to manifest things in the real world, in the physical world. I should say, not like real and not real are not very relevant, but rather the physical world. And again, like star flipped over like 3 times. So there's a lot of hope for a new beginning for you. There's a lot of hope for you to unlock a new aspect of yourself that you've been denying. And I just want to remind you that even if this situation feels very dark and heavy, a lot of it is in your mind. A lot of it is how you're viewing your situation, but also how you're viewing yourself. So this dynamic of this like manipulative, sneaky person that I gather, they they're not trying to be hurtful, which is why it's very conflicting for you and you feel like you're kind of going crazy. But the reality is that they are hurtful towards you, and they have a lot of growth, and you have a lot of growth, and the dynamic maybe needs to split apart. Do I get that it's a permanent split? No. But I do feel like there needs to be a split because you are not mentally strong enough to even entertain somebody who is kind of in that atmosphere of like, I don't know, this, like, you don't even see the manipulative sneakiness coming around, but you feel it. And you need to trust what you're feeling. And you also need to know that it's not going to remain dark for you. There's going to be a light. There's going to be a lot of light. There's going to be a lot of love and support coming your way. People really want to be there for you, and you have pushed them away, but they're not upset at you. They're not mad at you at all. So, and I think you need to know that. Reach out to this help. Reach out to this support system of yours. They are kind of waiting for you to come around any day now. She's going to see it any day now. So know that, okay? Um, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I don't know if you can message from here. If not, you can find me on sasha.pez on Instagram. That's sasha.pez on Instagram if you want to message me privately. Just so you, I don't know if you have any questions or whatnot. But also just so you know, yeah, I don't know. I guess whoever this was for, you're just loved and supported, and so much so that Spirit is keeping me up just to tell you what's like, just to give you this message, just to deliver it to you. So just feel seen and feel heard in this moment, and know that there's a lot working in your favor to protect you and to pour love into you and to guide you to a better path. Okay? I hope I hope this resonates. I hope you gain some clarity from this, if that was what was needed. Just be well, please, and take care. Bye, guys.